Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting edition of Late Night Reds. I almost said the Cavs show. We're getting to basketball season like soon.
Oh, it's coming, man.
But welcome to another edition of Late Night Reds. I'm Skylar Webker. He's Ben Brown. And Ben, the Reds keep their playoff hopes stay alive, but I would not say they're alive because of the Reds. Their playoff hopes are definitely alive because the Mets refuse to win.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not it's nothing that we're doing. It's everything that the Mets, just not wanting. It's almost like the Mets not wanting to be in the playoffs more than we want to be in the playoffs.
It does feel like that. I mean, so when we talked last week, they were 5 or 6 games back. They got all the way up to a half a game back and then dropped this series to the A's, which they should never drop a series to the A's in a minor league ballpark who are not trying.
Mm-hmm.
But they do. They get swept by the A's to kind of extinguish any good vibes that you had coming out of San Diego. And what are they, 2.5 games back now, which not great.
No.
But I mean, they're still alive. They're still in it. We came in here last week and we were done. You could not sell me back in on the season. And they definitely did that. They got us interested in this past week.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely got us back in it. And honestly, like we were sitting in a really good spot. We were a half game out with the A's. You know what I mean? With the A's coming up, knowing that the Mets were going to, not knowing that they were going to struggle as bad as they have, but they're still struggling. So we're like, man, this is a great time to gain ground, maybe take over. You know what I mean? Get in a spot where we're playing a team, like you said, plays in a minor league ballpark. Ownership don't care. Like you're playing a team like that literally is playing for nothing. They're literally playing for nothing. They are almost not an organization, and you come in and just like crap the bed, dude. Like it's disheartening because it's like you have a shot, you really have a shot, and that was your opportunity, and now the road gets really hard.
Yeah, I would say so. They have nothing but divisional games left, which we know that they, for some reason, struggle against the division. So they're about to start a series against the Cards tomorrow, but then it's Cubs, Pirates, Brewers.
Yep,
that's how they finish the year. So they definitely are going to have to earn whatever ground. I mean, thankfully the Mets have an equally hard schedule. They started against the Padres. And then they still have to play. They still have to play the Cubs and Miami and Washington. So their road is a lot easier, I would say, than the Reds. But at this point, the Giants are ahead of the Reds, and that sucks because the Reds were the only team actually at the deadline who made moves to try. I mean, the San Francisco gave the white flag at the deadline. And they're in it now. Like they are, as of right now, they have a playoff spot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like I said, man, it's disheartening to be in that kind of position where you seemingly made some right moves. You started getting people healthy. Your rotation starting to come back to where it's supposed to be. Like everything is pointing in the right direction. And you still aren't able to get over that hump. Like you're right there. Everything is falling your way. Like everything. Like I said, you're getting healthy. The Mets are playing bad. San Francisco had essentially given up because they did nothing. So everything was going your way, and you wind up still, stepping on your own feet. Like I don't understand when you've given this opportunity to possibly get into the playoffs and you go against the A's, like I said, who are trying not to be an organization. Like we're trying to give the A's away. Like they're, you know what I mean? And we go in there and just fall apart. Like we absolutely fall apart.
Yeah, and Pat McGooch puts in here, perfect I'm sad that they dropped that series or got swept in
Yeah,
that series. I mean,
yeah. Of all the series that get swept in too, like like the pitching matches, essentially the pitching matchups lined up. Like you had the guys you wanted to go. Everything was your way, and you still couldn't get a single win from the A's.
I wonder if because the A's, I don't want to say they don't have fans, but they moved out of Oakland, so they don't have fans in San Francisco or not San
Mhm.
Francisco, Sacramento right now. We'll see what their fan base looks like when they get to to Las Vegas, but they don't have a home. They don't really have a fan base. Fan base. Like I wonder how much that plays into that team. Like we have nothing. We have nothing pressuring us because our owner
Yeah,
doesn't care. We don't have fans. Like I wonder
right.
how much that no pressure kind of affects that team in a positive way. Just lets them go out there and play ball.
Well, I think I think that's part of it, and I think the other part too is that they can play loose because they have nothing. There's nothing really over their head. There's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Like they just go out and play. Like it's not even, you know what I mean? Like the wins and losses don't matter. And honestly, all those guys on that team are auditioning for something else, right? Like
That's exactly
you
it.
know what I mean? They're auditioning to either go somewhere else or find an organization where they so all those guys are trying to get out. So for them, it's like playing. They're trying to play at a high level because they really are trying to better themselves. So they get to that point, and you get into a series like this where you should get dominated, and they come in and win all three and play
That
well.
you're absolutely right. They're auditioning for every other team in the league
Yeah, I mean,
to make the trade to be, we see Matt Chapman leave and make tons of money. We
yep.
see Matt Olson leave, make tons of money. Sean Murphy leave, make tons of money. I mean, that list can go on and on and on. So
Mhm.
that's exactly it. Those guys they're not playing to be an
No,
athletic. They're
no,
playing for
absolutely.
the rest of the league to see big league at bats again for them.
Yep, and try to make a move to go get them. I mean, that was their goal in that, and everybody's trying to go and make themselves better to get away from that organization.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of it came to the Reds pitching. I mean, the
Yeah,
offense definitely sputtered quite a bit, but the pitching, especially the late game pitching, wasn't able to get it done. Thankfully, the Reds got some arms back to give guys breathers so you don't have to see Tony Santillan 80 times a year.
yeah.
They get Chase Burns back. They get Graham Ashcraft back. We also got news that Brett Lauder has started his AAA rehab assignment. I mean, those are good arms to get back. I just don't know how much impact you're going to get in 15 games. Is that what's
Yeah.
left? No,
Yep.
less than
Yeah.
that. 14 games.
It's like 14, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're running out of time, man. Like it's nice to get these guys back, but you're running out of time. I mean, it's um especially this late in the year, the inconsistencies kill you, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you don't get good starts from guys you're expecting to get good starts from, it kills you. You get a not typical performance from Lodolo. Today you get a not typical performance from Hunter Green. So, guys that you're really relying on to give you 6 innings and keep you in baseball games are not doing so. So, not saying that that's going to be something that goes on these next 14 days, but you can't, like I said, if you want to be in the playoff hunt, you cannot take a series against the A's for granted. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's got to. I'm not saying that they're not the professional baseball players. I'm not trying to downgrade them, but it's like that's an opportunity to win games where the other teams you're chasing are struggling to win games. That's kind of like that's I don't want to say a layup, but like you have to make yourself in position to win those games. Like getting swept by the A's shouldn't happen, especially if you're saying you're a playoff caliber team.
Yeah, and I mean, Adam puts in here, it's unbelievably frustrating the fact that, like, after today's game, they are now below 500. So
Yeah,
we are like that sucks. That
yeah,
sucks so bad that they're a game under 500 when just 2 days ago they were a half game out.
yep,
And like we said, the Mets are giving this away. Like
yeah.
they don't want it
No,
apparently, and I just don't understand that. Like you said, the inconsistencies are frustrating to say the least. You can tell that these guys are just super tired from a
yeah,
long season, and I get it, but good teams finish strong.
hmm,
You know, good teams finish strong. Look at Milwaukee;
yep,
they officially clinched today,
yeah.
and so
They find a
or
way.
yesterday. Exactly. You just you finish a season strong. You don't quit on the season, and it does feel like we those vibes are what this team is putting out is that they've quit on the season. That
Hmm.
locker room has quit on the season
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, yeah. It definitely doesn't feel like they don't feel like they feel like they're a playoff contender. Like
Yeah.
it's they can talk the talk and they can say that, but they don't have the bravado of a playoff team. Like they don't have that swagger of a playoff team. And honestly, it all starts with it's a lot of it. You rely on your best players to be good in certain times, and it's not happening. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you think of and I don't like to pick on because I do think he's a great player, but think of what we were thinking about with Ellie in late July, August compared to
Yeah.
now. I mean,
Shadow of himself right
it's
now.
he is absolute shadow of what he was even going into the All-Star break. You know what I mean? Like he's a shell of himself. You know,
Yeah.
you think of a guy like Matt McClain, where we had so many high hopes for him to be able to step into that role of Ellie's, Batman and Robin and blah blah blah, and he struggled. Think of where Spencer Steer was in July compared to now. Like these guys, I mean, good teams get better as the season goes, like you said, but I feel like we've just gotten tired, and
Yeah.
we look like a tired baseball team.
They are.
Yeah, I mean, they're and then it just feels like they're exhausted, and that comes with experience, right? I mean, experience gives you the ability to know that you have a long season ahead. If you feel like you're a playoff contender, the experience of that is learning how to play with consistency, and that's where I think a lot of that is. Like they're not there yet, and I mean, of course I wanted them to be in the playoffs, but I don't think this is a year where they're in the playoffs that it would even matter. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I don't
especially
think
right now. Their first round would be against the Dodgers.
yeah, and I just don't think their body of work and the way they're composed right now, like that's making the playoffs is great, and we get those cool hats with the logos on the side, but they're not a playoff team. I mean, let's be honest, and that's okay. Like I've come to grips with the fact that they're not a playoff team. Only if they're going to make moves to become a playoff team um, here next year in this offseason, because they do have some great pieces, and we've talked about it. Like I'll still take that starting rotation over a lot of starting rotations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would take that rotation over a lot of different rotations. So, um, they've got pieces. It's just figuring out what they need to do to become a playoff caliber team, and one of that is just consistency. And I don't know what helps you build that. Maybe going through this struggle of this season and not being able to finish will help them be better in the long run next year.
Yeah, and I think to your point, like about especially Ellie here at the end of the season, it's no secret that he's wanted the 162 this year. But I think we're seeing the importance of an off day in June or July, like
Yeah.
taking an off day because the skid he's on right now is wild because
Yeah.
as of this moment, basically all of his stats other than strikeouts and batting average were better last year. So he statistically had a better year last year. And we saw 218 strikeouts last year. And it's just wild because up until this skid, we all said Ellie's having a better year than he did last year. That's what you want to see out of a young star. But now you're getting to the end of the season where everyone's tired, and that's just really, really weighing down on clearly him and the rest of the team. They're also sorely missing Miguel Andujar, who's been out with an oblique, which definitely sucks because that zaps any type of power. We saw that with Ellie this year, like no power because of an oblique injury. So they're sorely missing that guy, middle of the lineup, power hitter, something. And hopefully they address that in the offseason because we saw how good this team was when they had Miguel Andujar or a middle of the order bat. But I agree. It's just this team is learning. Obviously, they're growing, but they definitely the next step here is to learn how to finish a season because we already saw the schedule for next year. Everybody immediately circled September and said that's going to be a nightmare. Well, if you're a fledgling 500 team, that's not good. So you have to figure out how to not be a fledgling 500 team.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the key that going into this off season, is that they've got to figure out, they've got to gain some semblance of an identity. What are we going to be, and how are we going to build towards that? Are we going to be a team that is small ball and we hit and we steal bases and we have good pitching and we play good defense? Or are we going to go out and try to find a big bomber that's going to be able to hit home runs in the middle of our lineup and be able to get on base and drive in runs? I feel like we have a struggle of identity, and I think that comes with the inconsistency. In the beginning, I felt like we were trying to do a little bit of the home run thing with Austin Hayes and Ellie and all, but then it kind of switched. Austin Hayes got hurt. Ellie, stopped hitting home runs. I think we talked about this before. Like Ellie De La Cruz can't be your home run hitter. Like that can't happen. So then you get Andujar, who actually was a guy that was able to hit the ball 500 feet, but he's hurt. So what are we going to be? It's deciding what identity the Reds are going to be and have in order to have that consistency that's going to last 162 games, because they were really good for 110. You know what I mean?
110 to 130. They were pretty
130
good.
games. They were pretty good. They were in it. I mean, and they're still in the hunt. I don't want to say that they're not in the hunt, but I kind of believe they're not in the hunt just by the way they're playing. But I mean, it's you can see the wear and tear on those guys. Like even in just their at bats, like it just doesn't have the same crispness. They're not as disciplined at the plate. They're not doing the things that they were doing earlier in the year. And that goes from top to bottom. Like TJ Friedl is not the same TJ Friedl he was in August. You know what I mean? Spencer Steer's not the same guy. McClain's not the same guy. Like all of these guys have kind of had a drop off once the calendar turned past August 15th to now. Like they've just kind of, you could just see the wear and tear on them, where their bodies aren't conditioned for the long haul. And I think part of that too is bringing in a veteran presence to be able to give those guys off days when needed. You feel better when you have a veteran presence to be able to fill in for a guy and not Santino Espinal. And I'm not knocking Santino Espinal, but like if I have a guy that's a veteran who can come in and I know it's going to give, like Jose Trevino. I have no issues with Jose Trevino at all. He's a veteran guy. He came in when Ty Steve was hurt. He hit the ball well. He provided good defense. Like, you need more of those guys, so when Stevenson does go out, you don't oh man, like we're going to have a big drop off. Like Trevino wasn't a big drop off. He was able to do some things to help sustain us in that lineup. Was he great? No, but he's a backup catcher. That's what he's doing. Exactly what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
We got to find some veteran guys that can come in and give you some games where you're like, okay, Ellie's sitting out this game. Who can we put there to fill in? Who's a veteran? Who's a leader? Who can play? And we don't feel like it's an automatic loss that Ellie's not playing.
Right. Yeah, and Lee made a great point where Jose Trevino was exactly that. Like, how do we get more things like that? I will say that we've gotten a lot more Will Benson with Miguel Andujar being out. I don't know if that will continue because Tito's relationship with Will Benson is fickle to say the least.
Yeah.
But we've seen a lot more Will Benson, who is mashing. He's really hot right now, which is great. But we'll see. I mean, they definitely have some holes to fill in this roster around giving guys off days and letting them be fresh. I will say that half the reason that I would say LA is probably playing every day is, surprisingly enough, they don't have another major league shortstop. I mean, you can put Matt McClain out there, but he's been second base. I mean, since he got called up. So it's to say the least that like Ellie has to play every day. So you're right. I think they need veteran presence. They need guys to knows how to finish the season. B can fill in these spots whenever you need guys to take a break. And I hope that that's what they address this offseason, because this is likely the only season they're going to have until the lockout, and who knows what the league will look like after that. So
no, absolutely. Yeah, hopefully they understand that time is of the essence, because you're right. I mean, if we don't do anything in 2026, it could be a whole new world. You know what I mean? So hopefully they are able to get some things figured out.
And I will say that Seth put it in our group chat today, or last night, but Sal Stewart, man, he reminds me so much of Sean Casey, not in any play style or anything, but just the high energy and vigor that he has. Like Sean Casey was a fan favorite because he always felt like a boy just playing ball out on the field. That's exactly the vibes that Sal Stewart puts on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really like that call up, because I mean he did give you a bit of energy. And he's a guy that's only going to get better the more at bats and the more he plays, just because I think for him, it's more about getting settled in. So once he gets settled into a spot and he knows that he's going to be able to play every day as a Major League Baseball player, he's going to be fine. He's a guy that I'm glad we're getting reps for now, because I think next year he could be a guy that's really going to be productive for us.
I agree. I think he's part of this team next year. I think he plays his way into this team next year. I think the front office makes some moves. I think they might trade Spencer Steer and get something or somebody a little more seasoned, I would say. I don't know, man. It's hard to place, but I think they might do something to really shake up this roster, because it's they brought in Tito because they thought used David Bell as the scapegoat last time. Like that after you use that, it goes up another rung. So Nick Krall's like, we got to do something because my seat is getting a little warmer because we keep not doing anything and we have no more scapegoats.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Because we all thought Tito was the answer, right? I mean, he had done it. He had climbed the mountaintop. He's turned rosters around. He's changed. He's done so many good positive things for baseball. So now you can't blame the negativity of the Reds on not having a manager.
Yep.
You can't blame it on not having a star. You can't blame it on not having a pitching rotation. You can't blame it on not having young talented guys on your roster. So at some point, at some point it's going to fall on management, right? Like,
Yeah.
and his seat's got to start to get crispy. I mean, because all, like you said, all the excuses are gone, right? Like all the excuses are gone. So what is, what the need is, what this team needs, and I'm sure Tito is telling you what this team needs. So you've got to go out and make it happen. I would be shocked. Like, honestly, I would be shocked if Tito is not involved in every free agent meeting that happens with the
Oh yeah.
GMs. I mean, if you don't take his advice on how to build a not even a World Series roster, but just a consistently winning roster. If you don't take his advice on how to build that and how to put pieces together, and you think back to, like you said, you think back to some of Tito's rosters, even in Boston or in Cleveland, like it wasn't like he had all kinds of Hall of Famers. It was
Yeah.
just guys that could do a job and do it consistently, night in, night out. And you didn't have to worry about them, you didn't have to worry about them faltering in big moments. You didn't have to worry about them not being ready for a big at bat. Like, all of his teams, he had guys on those rosters that were ready for the moment at any time. So he's been around the game enough to know what that looks like. So find some guys that he's looking at and wants to build this team around. And that may mean that you're going to have to trade some guys that you like. It ain't like I don't like Spencer Steer, but if I can go out and get a guy that can make, be consistent and play, or if I got to move a guy like Matt McClain, like you got to be willing to give up some pieces in order to make the roster the way that he's going to want that roster made. Because he knows how to win. I mean, the guy's won, so he knows how to win. He knows what it takes.
Yeah, and
Unlike
it's
Nick Paul,
definitely
who's not won anything.
nothing.
Right? I mean,
He's so afraid to not winning a trade deal that he doesn't make a trade deal.
right.
He takes whatever leftover scraps. He's trying to play the money ball type thing, and it's not working.
Yeah.
And to your point that, like, Tito hasn't had a ton of Hall of Fame, like, he's had like 2 or 3 in that Boston teams. He's had 2 in Cleveland, in Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez, but like Coco Chris is not a Hall of Fame player.
Right.
Hall of really good. I'll say I'll
Really
put him in
good.
Hall of
Very good.
But like Coco Chris came onto that Cleveland team and hit that game into extra innings, like the loudest that I remember this in Game 7, hitting a 3-run home run to tie it up, to take it into extra innings. Like, Coco Chris, Mike Napoli, Carlos Santana, they're not Hall of Famers, but they were key players on these teams, and it seems like the Reds can't get key players that can hit in these clutch times or get guys in. Like, it seems that has been their struggle all year, is clutch hitting, which is not what I would ever say is ever been a downfall of a Terry Francona team.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I think that he is going to be involved more, which makes me feel a little better. And he'll be able to put guys in positions so that they can put a winning product on the field. Because I would assume that he's he plays he's got a very good poker face. But I would assume that he's fairly frustrated. And I mean, with his first year back, I'm not saying that was expecting to go to the World Series, but I would assume he's very frustrated with the lack of, I guess, consistency, the lack of flexibility with the GM and the front office. I think there's got to be some kind of frustration there, to where, if you tell me that we're supposed to do this and we're trying to win, then you've got to give me some pieces in order to be able to do that. So I think there's some, I think this offseason is going to be really big for him because this will be the first like true offseason that he's been a part of to where he can try to construct a roster the way he wants to construct it.
Yeah, and look, we said it when the Reds hired him out of retirement. He's not trying to come back like Jordan to the Wizards. You know,
Right.
he's not coming out of retirement to lose. So, you know, I know his Hall of Fame plaque is ready for him and everything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be like, oh, he was a really great manager until that stint with the Reds. You know, like he
Right.
wants to be a Hall of Fame manager, period, and stop there. And so
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think he knows what this roster is. He knows what this team is, and he'll go into the offseason and I hopefully demand the reins from Nick Kroll, but at least be heavily involved in those decisions and trying to get the pieces that this team is missing because I'm sure he didn't know
Yeah.
what the team was. You didn't know what you're going to get from Gavin Lux. You didn't know what you're getting from Austin Hayes. You didn't know what Matt McLean was going to be. So
Mm-hmm.
he went into the season not knowing a ton of what this roster is going to be, what they can do, or anything like that. So now you have the year. We'll give you the mulligan year.
Mm-hmm.
What are your plans for next year? How are you going to get this team to where it needs to go next year?
Yeah. It's I'd be interested to see. I mean, I would assume that he's got a big board of guys that he's got his eyes on. I mean, because that's their job, right? I mean, they're supposed to know who's available, who's going to come available, who you want, who you don't want, who can fill where, who are you willing to trade, who are you not willing to trade. Um, so I would assume that he's built a big board of ideas of things he wants to get done in the off season. Because, like I said, I couldn't imagine that he's not frustrated with some of the things that either have happened or are going to happen. Or now, I'll say this: he has a very good poker face, but I do think that there's some frustrations there where the lack of consistency, and I think that's just him being an old school manager, right? Like in any sport or in anything you do, when you leave something, it's different from when you come back. So for him, I would assume that it's very difficult to see guys not consistently be able to do the things they need to do to win ball games on a night in, night out basis, especially when you have even when you know your team is not a playoff proven team or a playoff ready team, your division is so bad that you still have an opportunity to make the playoffs, and you still find a way not to get over that hump. Your job as a manager and a leader of a team is to figure out why. So a big part of this offseason is going to be, why can't we get over that hump? I mean, and everybody says it. I mean, sometimes, it's not X's and O's, it's Jimmy's and Joe's, right? Like you gotta make some moves and be able to do some things to move some guys around and build your roster the way he's going to want to build a roster. And I think that's going to be the cool thing to see this year. If that happens, that'll be a tall tale sign if Tito is involved, if Tito's not involved, to see who gets moved where and what it looks like. You'll be able to tell really quick by the offseason when we get into a hot stove on who's moved, who's not moved, if Tito's involved or if Tito's not involved. You'll be able to tell really quick.
Yeah, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully the impending lockout doesn't make ownership handcuff, whatever decisions Tito needs. Before we get out of here, I wanted to hear or ask you. I was on with Seth on Thursday or Friday when his show comes out, and we kind of went through and decided like what do they need to finish the end of the year to make it in. And that was before this A's series, and I said they go 10-6. They can go 10-6. They could probably make it in. 10-6 is now turned into 10-3.
Yeah.
So what do you think they need to do to get in? And 10 more wins would put them at about 84 wins.
Yeah, they got what, 14 games left, you said?
I think 13.
13 games? Nothing less than 9-4.
Hmm.
I mean,
That's
nothing
true.
less. I mean, anything other, if they lose four or more games of these last 13, yeah, you can that's kind of a wrap.
Yeah.
You have to win 9. You have to win 9 of the next 13. Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
To put you in, because here's the thing, like you said, San Francisco wasn't expected to be there, and now they're there. So I mean, so you're battling them. The Mets end of the season schedule is atrocious. I mean, if they play 500 baseball, they should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So the Reds, I mean, they really had to play out of their shoes. If they go 9-4, I think that would put them there, or at least close.
Yeah, 9-4 would be close. I think 10-3 is probably where you need a sweep, either the Pirates or the Cardinals.
Yeah.
If you sweep both and then still can get a win or two against the Cubs and Brewers, you're in action.
Yeah.
But you got to beat the teams that are worse than you, and those two teams are worse than you. And the Reds, just like this series of the A's, can't seem to beat bad teams, but they play out of their minds against good teams like San Diego, the Dodgers, the Mets. They play out of their minds for good teams. And hey, maybe that's the secret for next year, because we said the schedule in September next year is like not great.
Yeah.
Hey, that's it. They just
maybe they'll go on a
great teams.
Play all great teams.
That's probably the worst outlook you could have for hoping your team gets in. Is like, give me the toughest schedule in September.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week. How's their schedule break out? By the time next week, they'll have their series against the Cardinals and the Cubs. So we'll definitely know where we're at. That'll be our second to last episode for the season. If you guys are planning to go to any more Reds games or even some Bengals games, use our code Riverfront and get $20 off your first purchase through SeatGeek. Like I said, it doesn't have to just be Reds games. It could be anything. That's our code Riverfront to get $20 off your first purchase through SeatGeek. We encourage everybody to join our ever-growing family of Cincinnati sports fans through Patreon. It's patreon.com/RiverfrontCincy. And any paid level or anything will get you access to our Slack channel, which is incredible. I come in here and I brag on it all the time, but it's just a great group of Cincinnati sports fans, keeping it light, keeping it informed about the team, and even beyond the team, just the Bengals. We have a wrestling channel, so it's super fun. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube to receive the latest episodes, not only from our show, but the Riverfront Red Show with Seth and the Welcome to the Jungle show with Owen and Caroline. They're doing a great job. They're going to have a lot to talk about tomorrow. Yeah. Oof. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and please subscribe to the audio version of this podcast for free on any platform of choice or on all of them. Give us a rating or review on iTunes and elsewhere. Be a friend, tell a friend, give us feedback on the show. We're just Cincinnati sports fans trying to make a good show for other Cincinnati sports fans. So for that, he's Ben Brown. I'm Skylar Wecker. Go Reds, go Bengals. Have a good weekend.